Hey guys, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Today I'm going to be reacting to the Templin Institute, Stellaris Invicta, Greater Terran Union, Part 6. If you want to check out my previous reactions, I'll put the card right up here. Just click on it and you'll be able to access the playlist. And let's start.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
On September 16, 2448, 100 members of the Sunda Commissariat's Guard of Honor silently assembled in Victory Square in the center of Jakarta. In lieu of their ceremonial weaponry, each held a single torch. The statue they encircled was nearly as old as the Greater Terran Union itself, constructed even as ash still fell across the Earth, and the survival of humanity remained tenuous. Nobody ever discovered who first tossed their black ribbon of mourning on the monument, but it was soon joined by tens of thousands of others in a mass outpouring of grief. The impromptu act grew to become tradition, and through the centuries, the statue was slowly buried beneath a black cloak of mourning until entire generations passed by without ever seeing what lay beneath. But on the night mankind unleashed its greatest weapon, and the suffering brought to Earth was finally repaid, 100 torches were cast at the statue's base. In an instant, centuries of grief were burned away, and the figure of a woman, sword raised to the starlit sky, emerged. Engraved on her shield in every language was a single phrase that, until now, had been lost to history. Whoever shall come to us with a sword, by the sword shall perish. Even before the shattered pieces of the tower.
I like that. Whoever comes to us with a sword shall die by the sword. What? Shall perish by the sword. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm ruining it, but I'm gonna come back to this. It's genius. It's genius. Okay.
Aram's homeworld had begun to stabilize, the response from across the galaxy flooded in. On every alien world in which the Greater Terran Union maintained an embassy or consulate, spontaneous mass demonstrations broke out. Within a span of days, half a dozen diplomatic compounds had been hastily evacuated before they were overrun by protesters. Other embassies were simply closed or expelled at the request of their host nation. The Sword of Terra and its accompanying escort fleet managed to return to Terran space before the Star Concord closed their borders, an act that would be copied by nearly every other major government or alliance. Even nations that had traditionally been friendly or impartial towards the Greater Terran Union were now belligerent. Terran diplomats had of course expected such a reaction, but the consequences and uproar had far surpassed even their most pessimistic expectations.
Look, in the game, Stellaris, yes, once you use your Colossus weapon, empires around you and empires throughout the galaxy, they will have a very negative view stance against you. But eventually they, through some diplomatic back rubbing and trading, or, just sending out an envoy, or even just time, just bide your time, they will forgive you. So it's nothing really that serious. Yeah, unless if you were in a federation or you were in a defensive pact, maybe they might cancel that. They might kick you out of the federation. But otherwise, the repercussions are not as high. Yeah. Unless there is a galactic community, then things might actually get a bit, dodgy there. They might perform sanctions against your nation. They might institute sanctions. Yeah, you might have some problems if you're in a galactic community, but it's necessary. It was necessary. They had to go.
In a rare attempt to appease interstellar opinion, the GTU announced it would adopt a partial qualified no first use policy, stating that the Sword of Terra would only be used against states possessing a similar type of weapon. The damage, however, had already been done. The destruction of their homeworld had thrown the Tyrum into a chaotic frenzy. Their hive mind, either crippled or destroyed outright, seemed no longer able to control its population of drones. On every world they occupied, they tore into each other in terrible displays of senseless viciousness, while their remaining ships and stations sat motionless, their crews either dead or dying. Within a few months, entire continents vanished under a tide of corpses as the death throes of the Tyrum race accelerated. Terran state media, while not boastful, had also not shied away from broadcasting images of the slaughter, but as the death toll grew higher and higher, even its most bellicose anchors became somber. While scattered pockets of their society had remained relatively intact, there could be no mistaking the reality of the situation. The Tyrum were now a dying race. With the completion of the Sword of Terra, the resources, funding, and personnel behind its development were moved elsewhere. In 2469, a project that for centuries had been largely underfunded and overlooked was completed. In a remote system captured from the Algan Republic in one of the earliest conflicts against the Compact, Terran scientists had seized a derelict interstellar gateway. While such objects were not common, a scattered few had been discovered across the galaxy, reactivated, and most famously used as a launching site for the strike against the Tyrum. This gateway, however, while remarkably similar to those previously encountered, was subtly different and seemed linked to its own separate network. The first ships to pass through it once it had been reactivated emerged in a previously unknown extragalactic cluster. To the delight of these initial pioneers, the cluster was of tremendous scientific value. Many of its worlds were coated in long since deactivated nanites, and their discovery catapulted the Union's understanding of nanotechnology by perhaps centuries. Even more astonishing was the presence of a still intact artificial intelligence, capable of exerting control over trillions of nanites. While initially wary of its potential, after an exhaustive analysis, it was authorized to supplement Terran military and civilian networks, rapidly improving their efficiency and capabilities. With the enormous wealth and insights of the extragalactic cluster seized by the Greater Terran Union, the nation's marshals, generals, and admirals began advocating for a preemptive strike on what remained of the Compact. While no longer a serious threat, their surprise declaration of war during preparations for the campaign against the Tyrum had infuriated the Terran military. In 2488, the Greater Terran Union declared war on the members of the Compact, the Rixian Galactic Directorate, the Phyraxian Union, and what remained of the Algan Republic. War Plan Blue, constantly updated and refined across centuries, was immediately put into action. Where once they had been formidable powers capable of meeting the Greater Terran Union in open battle, the Compact was now a shadow of its former self. New generations of Terran warships dwarfed even the largest battleships sent against them, and in every encounter, Terran Fleet Command achieved stunning, lopsided victories. Even the fortress system of ReacTalk, which for centuries had been considered unconquerable by even the largest powers in the galaxy, was broken. Affectionately known to Terran soldiers as Lady Grey, the vast swarm of nanites and their guiding intelligence discovered in the extragalactic cluster were unleashed. Even the genetically engineered soldiers of the Phyraxian Union were powerless against it, and system after system after system fell to the Terran advance. In 2495,
the GTU is on a roll. The entire galaxy might hate them for what they've done. They don't care. They're on a roll. Victory after victory, discovery after discovery, advancement after advancement. They are winning this. Haters gonna hate.
the seventh and final war between the Greater Terran Union and the Compact came to an end as the Algan Republic, Phyraxian Union, and Rixian Galactic Directorate surrendered unconditionally. On Earth, flags and banners of the defeated, symbols that had defied the GTU for centuries, were marched down the Avenue of Triumph before being thrown at the feet of the assembled marshals. Across the former worlds of the Compact, occupation forces swept across ruined cities as new regimes, governments, and puppet states were established. In orbit of the shattered Tyrum homeworld, a single station was completed, a type of shrine that would become the site of pilgrimages from every human colony. And in the capitals of the Perranisti Union, the Sophox Garden of Worlds, the Vol Hive, the Florian Matriarchy, the Star Compact, and hundreds of other alien nations, the same realization had been made. With the annihilation of the Tyrum, one threat to the galaxy had simply been replaced by another. A power equally implacable, intelligent, and perhaps far more dangerous. In Stellaris Invicta, the Templin Institute guides the greater Terran Union into an uncertain future, one you can influence. Every Saturday, we'll live stream our progress on our Twitch channel, and viewers and patrons will have the opportunity to vote on decisions, help name planets, ships, leaders, and more. If you missed the live stream, you can catch up on what happened when the stream is published the next day to the Templin Archives channel. Then, once a month, we'll produce a video like this one, detailing everything that's progressed in the Greater Terran Union's struggle to achieve galactic supremacy. The next live stream of Stellaris Invicta begins 1 hour after this video has gone live. We hope to see you among the stars.
Man, the GTU is lucky. They got Grey instead of getting Grey Tempest, or the, what do they call it, the Consonants, or the Eldrakes. That's what I get all the time. I always get the bad outcomes when I open up the L gates. Either I'm attacking dragons or drakes, Eldrakes, or I'm having a Great Tempest invasion, or I'm having the Consonants. You know, it doesn't really do much unless if you go in there and you start investigating and go to the center system in that cluster, our cluster, then they will attack you. But you know, I always get the unfavorable results. I wish I had the GTU Empire in my Stellaris game. And like I said before, you know, the results or the consequences of them destroying the Tyrum homeworld, yes, they are concerning, but you know, over time, those empires will open up their borders again. They will send their envoys again. They will request to open an embassy in their empires again. You know, everything will go back to normal. It will just take some time, maybe like 100 months or so, 124 months, and then everything will just go back to normal. So the GTU is not really in any kind of problem or trouble. Yeah. And the part where the narrator said that the galaxy now sees the GTU as a threat after the Tyrum's defeat, that's unwarranted. That's unwarranted. They are not targeting anyone else with the Sword of Terror. Their main objective was to destroy the Tyrum. That's it. That's it. They're not here to conquer and to blow up worlds because it's fun, or because they need to control the population of the galaxy to make sure that the computer doesn't slow down. Yeah. If you play Stellaris, you know what I mean. Population control is very important. But they're not doing any of that here, you know. They are only destroying their greatest enemy. And if you attack the GTU, then yes, they will attack you back. I don't know if they will use the Sword of Terror, but anything is possible. So this is just a lesson. Don't attack the GTU, or you will be in trouble. Yeah, it's as simple as that. And yeah, guys, that's it for today. Remember, if you like the video, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also, click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. All right, until next week, bye-bye.